Здравейте! Вие сте с последния епизод на рубриката на Музикалтор на техния видеоблог Музика, на-право. Днес се включваме директно от Боровец, където се случва едно изумително събитие, международен творчески лагер за писане на музика. Тук сме събрали над 30 български и международни автори, изпълнители, музикални продуценти, които в рамките на 5 дена създават музика в страхотна среда, създават нови хитове, създават възможност за развитие на всички, които творят в България. Тук съм с Робин Йенсен, който е мой приятел, който е мой ментор и който е съосновател и президент на един от най-големите музикални издатели в Швеция, EKKO Music Rights, както и съосновател и директор на Dsign Music. Той е основател и президент на Spark. Това е една нова инициатива, една изумителна дигитална платформа, която ще създаде възможности за всички автори, където и да са в бъдеще. Робин, hi.
Hi.
Yesterday was our last songwriting day. Today we are with the video rubric of our copyright collecting society, Music Author. Music Author is a fantastic organization with more than 3,000 members, with bilateral agreements with all the copyright societies in the world representing Bulgarian and international music authors. I think the most interesting question for all of us, for all of them, would be how did the songwriting camps appear as an initiative? Because you're one of their creators. You created and you organized the biggest songwriting camp in Europe, Song Expo in Trondheim. What is the definition of a songwriting camp? Why songwriting camps?
Oh, yeah, that's a big question. So, to explain it a little bit more, it's basically producers and top-liners, singers, songwriters that meet together in a studio to write a song. So that's the explanation of what's happening. But why we do it, obviously, in Norway, the reason why I wanted to start Song Expo, and that's 11 years ago, it's because I wanted to export Norwegian songwriters from Norway into the rest of the world. To create export and to create a new way of thinking, to globalize and amplify the value of the music industry in Norway. And to do that, I needed to break down barriers and belief systems in Norway. Norway is a small country, 5.5 million people, probably smaller than Bulgaria.
Yeah, a little bit smaller, but everything that you say is like you are Bulgarian speaking in English.
Yeah.
Because we have the same sort of barriers,
yeah.
We have the same sort of aspirations,
yeah.
We have the same sort of problems and size, you know?
Exactly.
So what happened?
It's a very similar situation to what we did in Norway, which I think will happen here. It's when you do a song camp and you have local writers meeting international writers, some magical things happen. And meaning you get inspired, you are getting educated, and you start to believe that it's possible for you, coming from small countries as Norway or Bulgaria, to actually go and write a song that becomes a #1 smash hit outside of your country, which means maybe going #1 on Billboard or some other big chart and selling physical CDs or streaming a lot of streams or have a lot of views on YouTube. So having those things in mind, suddenly writing a song or doing music becomes a job where you actually make money instead of just a hobby or some fun stuff you do in the evenings.
So what happened with the Norwegian authors after the Songwriting Camp started?
So the first camp we had, it was obviously just for 4 days, a small camp with 50 writers in total. I flew in 25 international writers and I had 25 Norwegian writers. So 2 people from Norway and 2 people from international countries in the same room. So that's how I managed to start to bond and make them write songs together with international writers. I kind of forced the international writers to work with Norwegians.
Like we forced you to come to
in a way,
Bulgaria
in a way.
in order to write your writers and several others from different territories. We forced them into the studios in this lovely place here.
I wouldn't use the word
the
forcing, but I would say, yes, in a way, you fly them in, you give them a proper location to work, a studio, nice hotel, and food and drinks, and everyone is happy. And that's all they need to create.
So what did you achieve till now with your writers? Because my next question is, how do you write a hit? What is the definition of a hit song? It's a stupid question in a way, I know, but it's a very important question, and I think every songwriter is just asking himself or herself this question nearly every day.
It is a very complicated question, but I think it all breaks down to, it's not if it's a good or a bad song, but is it the right song? And what do I mean by making the right song? Well, there's a couple of parameters that you have to remember. So first of all, it has to be correct for an artist somewhere. It has to be the right type of song that fits the artist. It has to be a song that fits the market. It has to fit with the label and their marketing plan. So there's a lot of parameters like that. But also, probably the most important thing, a song needs to resonate with some type of feeling. It has to either be something that lyrically makes you think or feel something, it touches your heart, it makes you dance or clap or something. And if you can't do that with your song, if you don't touch any type of feeling, then it's probably the wrong song. So I think if you write a new song and you don't feel anything at all, you should probably throw that song away and start over again and write a new one.
Out of a songwriting camp, for instance here we did around 30 songs.
Yeah.
How many of them do you think could be hits?
It's again a very tough question, but if you think about international hits,
Yeah.
I would say 1 out of 10 songs, and that's like a mathematical thing for me. It's 1 out of 10 songs usually become something.
Immediately the next question appears.
Mm-hmm.
Out of what you say, I do understand that if you want to have a hit, you need to really invest a lot of hours in writing songs. So if 1 on every 10 songs is a hit, this is a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's it's like any other job. You have to work every day. It's from, you don't have to start at 7 in the morning, but let's say you start at 12, then you can't go home at 2. You have to stay from 12 and at least 8 hours, or you have to start earlier. So every day, it's a job.
In a little market like ours, for instance, many of the songwriters cannot afford to work all day in the studio. So what would you advise the Bulgarian authors? How to continue, how to make themselves better, how to invest in their own future?
Well, I think the most important thing is to look at the music industry as a global industry, not just Bulgaria or, the countries surrounding Bulgaria. Because you have to look at where is their money to be earned. And if you think about, let's say, the Asian market, which I work a lot in, they sell a lot of physical CDs. So obviously having a #1 smash hit with K-pop, for instance, would make a lot more money than having a smash hit in Bulgaria or in Norway, for that sake. Because it's small countries, streaming numbers are low compared to the major hit songs. And I don't want to destroy anyone's dreams or step on anyone's toes, but it is very important to think, if you really want to make this as a living, you have to make money and you have to write songs that actually sells or becomes valuable, making money. Yeah, look at the marketplace. Where is there a lot of people? So on this planet, 7.5 billion people right now. 70% of them are in Asia.
The biggest markets, growing markets, are Asian, Latin America.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Africa starts waking up.
Yeah.
Yes. How many number ones did your authors achieve till now? Do you have statistic?
I don't really have a statistic, but my company, Dsign Music in Norway, which we also have these camps in
We have
Trondheim.
them here.
Yeah, they have now 46 number ones on Billboard, 35 million physical CDs, and that's 4 people together writing.
Four
and working.
people, 35 million. Unbelievable. What would you think about the future of the music business, and especially of songwriting, and the value of repertoire generally in the digital age?
Well, we see it's a tough world right now. It's, I don't know the exact number, but 60,000 songs are being released, they say, every day.
60,000 songs every day.
To Spotify, for instance. 60,000 songs.
This is not an ocean, this is like a few oceans of music every day.
Yeah. And probably it's because there is no quality control.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you go 10 years back in time, there was always a record label or some kind of, quality control. Before you can release something, someone else had to mean something, or at least invest or spend some money on it, meaning the quality was higher, and then the numbers would be lower, like today with 60,000 songs.
So
there is no marketing involved, there is no label involved, there is basically no chance for that song to end up at the number one spot anywhere.
So a very tough reality for many songwriters, maybe many of them really talented, who are just gonna always stay in the shade, more or less. So how do you stick out of this?
You build your career, and you have to work with the right people, you have to write songs for the right artists, and in the end, maybe you can earn enough money to live out of this. And I would say, for songwriters, if you write 100 songs a year, but not on your own, but together with people. So making a team, like with Dsign, they would never do this if they were one person.
So what you're saying is that actually good music is based on collaboration.
It's always based on collaborations.
It's a good
A team
lesson.
of minimum 2 people, because then you can do one producer and one singer, top liner, or you are 3 or 4 people, then you can write much more songs in a week than if you're on your own.
You are second time in Bulgaria. We are doing this camp for a second time. I wonder, why do you come to Bulgaria? Do you believe in our talent? Do you think we have a chance in this big world? Because I personally, from my daily work, I rarely find enthusiasm for anything that comes from Bulgaria. It's a really tough job to make a step beyond our own borders. Not because we have bad writers or bad artists, it's just this is like a habit, and nobody has the habit to look into Bulgaria and just pay a little bit more attention. And why are you coming here? Do you think we have a chance?
Yeah, of course you have a chance. It's like Norway is smaller, and when we started working for 12 years ago in Korea with K-pop, nobody cared about K-pop. It was a weird thing.
Nobody in Norway, or
nobody
anywhere in the
world cared about K-pop.
But K-pop is at the moment, a K-pop band is the number one band.
Now it is.
Based on sales in the whole world for last year. It's
12
unbelievable.
Years. 12 years to get there, from almost nothing to become something.
How did it happen?
I think it's, if you guys, so if Bulgarians and artists coming from Bulgaria, or songwriters and labels start to think, if nobody come here to look at us, then we have to go out and show who we are. And I think that's what K-pop is, what they did. They didn't wait for people to come to Korea. They just went out there and showed people what they are. And I think also by creating acts that speak English, be more international in the music, and believing that your talent is good enough to actually be exported. Because it is a way of mindset. If everyone thinks, no, we're not good enough, we're never going to be able to do this, and it's just pure luck if someone bothers to check us out, then obviously that's going to be the reality. But if someone is bold enough to say, wait a minute, we are good enough, and let's show them. And of course it takes a whole country to start thinking that way. So it takes time to change those kind of mindsets and make it into something that everyone believes in.
Okay, this is a really, really wonderful and positive end of this conversation, which could continue for another few hours.
Yeah, of course.
But thank you, Robin. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and I'm really honored to be invited here. And if anything of what I am doing here or saying or providing information or knowledge, I hope I, can inspire one person to go out of Bulgaria and succeed, then I'm going to be the most happy person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Това беше всичко от нас. Надявам се ви е било полезно, вдъхновяващо, интересно. Гледайте всичките епизоди от рубриката Музика направо в YouTube канала на Музикатор. Чао!